When Jurgen Klopp announced he was leaving Liverpool, it shocked the world.
I will leave the club at the end of the season.
But he let everyone know that Arne Slot was more than capable of taking over.
I like that a lot. So, good coach, good guy.
1 year later, Klopp was proven right.
Arne Slot has kept it all inside this season. But finally,
on May 25th, 2025, Liverpool lifted the Premier League trophy for the second time in 20 years. It was their 20th league title and their first under Arne Slot. But it wasn't just about the trophy, it was about how they played. Liverpool looked unstoppable last season. They were fast, fluid, fearless. Salah was at his ruthless best, sweeping almost every individual award in sight. The Golden Boot, Playmaker of the Year, and PFA Player of the Year. Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Alexis Mac Allister gave Liverpool control they hadn't seen in years. Van Dijk and Konate anchored a defense that almost looked impenetrable, and up front, Luis Diaz terrorized defenders for fun. That team was the perfect blend of style, speed, and steel. But after their title triumph came the inevitable question every great team faces: how do you stay great? Like any elite European club hungry to preserve dominance, Liverpool spent big, 450 million big. Liverpool's team after the summer transfer window looked unbeatable. It looked perfect, almost too perfect. In trying to perfect greatness, Liverpool lost what made them great in the first place. And it all began on June 14th, 2025. In the summer transfer window, Liverpool rebuilt the entire team. They looked at the team and saw age, fatigue, and the end of the old era. So they acted. Over 450 million was spent to strengthen every corner on the pitch. It didn't help when Diogo Jota tragically died in a car accident. Everyone talked about how much Liverpool invested, but we must also mention the money they earned, because these earnings became a double-edged sword. In that same window, Liverpool recouped over 300 million in player sales, from Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz, and Trent's move to Real Madrid. Even though Trent left for free, his departure was the most painful of them all. On paper, it was a brilliant business move. Younger legs, higher ceilings, a squad built to last another decade. But football isn't a spreadsheet, and numbers don't always capture what really makes a team work. Take Darwin Nunez for example. He missed sitters, mistimed his runs, and frustrated even his own teammates. But what Liverpool didn't realize was behind all that chaos, Nunez was the spark that lit everything. He pressed like a man who'd never heard the word tired. He dragged defenders out of shape, created panic in transition, and opened the pitch for Salah and Diaz. His energy set the tone. He was their first defender, not just their striker. When he left, Liverpool lost their intensity. They replaced him with Alexander-Arnold, who, admittedly, is a more clinical and polished striker, and technically an even bigger upgrade. But football systems aren't built only on technique alone. Isaac is smooth, composed, and intelligent, but he isn't Nunez. He doesn't press the same way. He doesn't stretch defenses the same way. And that's where the chain reaction began. Without Nunez, Liverpool's press lost its edge. Without that chaos up front, Salah no longer found the same space. The attack has become predictable, static, and easier to defend. And while Isaac is the better footballer, Nunez was the player who forced the game to happen. Liverpool never replaced that profile. Or better still, technically they did with Hugo Ekitike, but more on him later. But hey, don't wait till later to subscribe, or you'll miss how the story unfolds. There aren't many who would agree up to this point, but surely losing Luis Diaz hurt even more. He was the team's pulse on the left, the player who could take on two defenders and still find Salah arriving at the back post. Last season alone, Diaz created over 60 chances and recorded 18 goal contributions, numbers that barely capture his influence. He wasn't just creative, he was disruptive. He made Liverpool unplayable because every time he ran, defenses panicked. Together last season, Diaz and Nunez carried the same energy that once came from Mane and Firmino. That perfect mix of pace, pressure and precision. but Liverpool worried about Diaz's injuries and inconsistency and decided to move on. In his place came Florian Wirtz, Germany's golden boy, a creative genius and technically gifted. But as good as Wirtz is, he plays differently. He likes control, not chaos. He thrives in structure, not chaotic patterns. And in Liverpool's high-tempo system, that small difference changes everything. But perhaps the hardest loss of all was Trent Alexander-Arnold, the boy who redefined the fullback role, the deep-lying playmaker whose diagonals would split an entire defense in half. When he left, Liverpool lost their ability to transition from defense to attack in one pass. In his place is Jeremy Frimpong, who's young and fast, but let's face it, he's built for a different system. He can run, but he's not the player Trent was for Liverpool, and without Trent, Liverpool's transitions feel slower and heavier. On the opposite flank, Milos Kerkez arrived replacing the aging Andy Robertson. While he's modern, athletic and positionally sound, the fullback pairing that once gave Liverpool its voice is suddenly out of the squad. For all the money they spent and all the upgrades they made, Liverpool somehow feels smaller. The names are brighter, the squad is younger, the potential is higher, but the rhythm is gone. Liverpool started the season strongly with 7 wins in a row, but those victories didn't feel resounding. Their games have turned into survival tests. Against Newcastle, they needed a 95th minute goal from wonderkid Rio Ingamoa to scrape through. Against Burnley, a late penalty against newly promoted Burnley was all they could master. A few days later, it was Van Dijk charging forward in the dying minutes, bailing them out again. They did what champions always do, getting the 3 points no matter how they played. But those narrow margins and nervous endings tell a different story. This isn't the Liverpool that used to dominate from start to finish. And that's not a coincidence, it's structure. Or rather, it's what happens when the structure changes faster than the chemistry inside it. Arne Slot's blueprint is simple on paper. Control possession, stretch the pitch, dictate tempo. He wants a side that builds patiently from the back, uses width intelligently, and pins opponents deep. His philosophy is more Guardiola than Klopp. But Liverpool were built on Klopp's heavy metal idea, not control. For years, they thrived on instinct, rapid transitions, suffocating presses, and moments of madness that opponents couldn't prepare for. Now, under Slot, that chaos is gone. They are more predictable, easier to read. His midfield sits deeper, his fullbacks push higher, his striker drops in instead of breaking lines. It all looks beautiful on a whiteboard until the whistle blows. Slot's football isn't bad, it's just different. And difference takes time. But in a league where time is not a luxury, Liverpool's adaptation looks like erosion. Statistically, the damage is brutal. Liverpool has faced 571 long balls from 32 meters or more, the highest in the Premier League by a wide margin. Roughly 20% of all opposition passes. Each one bypasses the midfield completely, exposing the yawning gap between defense and midfield. Against Manchester United, it took just one simple clearance to turn into a tactical disaster, and the numbers tell the same story elsewhere. Last season, they averaged 2.74 tackles in the final third, which are elite presser numbers. Now, it's 1.98, making them one of the 7 least effective pressing sides in England. Their midfield's intensity has collapsed too, down almost a full tackle per game. The intensity that once defined Liverpool has evaporated. When the press triggers, they pause. When they commit, they can't recover. Even their 400 million rebuild has turned into a balancing act gone wrong. Florian Wirtz, the £116 million conductor, is yet to register a goal or assist in 10 matches in the Premier League. Alexander-Arnold is moving at a pace that his teammates don't recognise from his time at Newcastle. And Ekitike, the one player whose energy mirrors Liverpool's old style, sits on the bench, punished by hierarchy and price tags. The result? They now have a team of world-class players who can't gel with one another. Liverpool wanted evolution. Instead, they engineered erosion. Every great rebuild needs one spark, one player who refuses to follow the script. For Liverpool, that player is Hugo Ekitike. At first, he was meant to be a rotation option, a project, someone to grow quietly behind Isak and Salah. But from the moment Ekitike stepped onto the pitch, everything changed. Whenever he's on the pitch, Liverpool look lively. He presses like the old days, plays like he has nothing to lose. And that, ironically, makes everyone else remember what Liverpool used to be. In just 9 appearances, some of which were as a substitute, Ekitike has scored 3 goals and provided 1 assist, which is more direct goal involvement than any of Liverpool's expensive attackers. But it's not the numbers, it's the way he plays. His ability on the ball is unbelievable, and he makes everyone around him better. He is, in many ways, everything Liverpool lost when Nunez and Diaz left. Unredefined, unpredictable, but irresistibly effective. He runs in straight lines when others look for triangles. He cuts when others pass. He makes defenders guess wrong. And he's shifty on the ball. But more importantly, whenever he's on the pitch, Salah actually performs. With Ekitike stretching the defense, Salah finds space and punishes the opponents. In their last 4 games together, Salah averaged 0.86 expected goals per 90 minutes. The truth is, Ekitike will have to keep putting up insane numbers to actually bench 150 million Isak. And that's where Arne Slot's problem lies. If he's bold enough to actually find the perfect fit for these players, Liverpool will be back to winning ways. But as Liverpool rediscovers who they are, the real question now is, can Arne Slot let go of control and allow the ruthless aggression Liverpool were known for? Liverpool wanted evolution. They dreamed of building a dynasty that could outlast time itself. But somewhere along the way, they forgot. Evolution means adapting, not replacing. In chasing perfection, they lost their soul. In trying to modernize, they dismantled the very heartbeat that made them special. And now, as the dust settles, the question lingers. Will Liverpool break greatness trying to perfect it? Because if there's anything they need to learn about maintaining at the very top, they need to remember the history of Liverpool, or even Manchester United, who has been struggling post-Fergie.